Hey guys, I am excited to come back today and talk to you a little bit more about habits. Yesterday, we kind of went into why habits really help us to create change. And today, we're going to talk about how to actually create those habits. So, let's first talk a little bit about what a habit even is. So, we went into this yesterday. Habits are things that we do automatically that we don't have to think about. So, why do habits matter so much? Like, why are they important? There's a couple of reasons. So, the first one is the power of consistency. So, when we do something day after day after day, it adds up and it really, just like little actions done repeatedly, day after day after day, has this kind of compound effect. And I have a great quote. This is from Tony Robbins. He says, "It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, it's what we do consistently." And that makes sense. If you think about the things that you do regularly, those are the things that are really shaping who you are. You can't like be fit if you went and exercised one time. You can't say that you eat healthy or you're a reader if you ate one healthy meal or you read one book. If you want those results, it's the results in your life, the things that really shape you. You get those results by doing things day after day after day. And so, where habits play into that is habits are the consistency in our lives. They're the backbone. They're the things that we do repeatedly over and over and over. And so, it's really powerful because it just takes getting the habit right and intentionally putting this habit into place. And then it kind of carries us along. So, first we create our habits, then our habits create us. And that's such a cool concept. We put these things into place and they help us become who we want to become. Um, Another idea with this compound effect is that success is doing a few things really well, repeated 5,000 times. So sometimes we wonder, like, why am I not seeing success? Why am I not like getting the results that I want to have? And often it's just a matter of doing it longer, of having the habit of repeating it 5,000 times and doing it over and over and over. And sometimes habits don't seem that exciting to us, right? Like we'd rather go out and do something big and flashy and new and exciting. But the truth is, the habits are the things that keep us going and keep us progressing along the path. So today we're going to talk about how. So you know this, you're on board. You feel like, okay, this is what I want. I want to create habits, but how do I actually put these into practice and create these things that then help to create the life that I want to have? So, the first step, and a lot of this comes from research from BJ Fogg. He wrote the book Tiny Habits. He has done research over the last couple of decades about habits, and his work boils down to some really simple concepts. So his book is called Tiny Habits, and that's the first key, is that the habits that you are creating need to be tiny, not just small, but tiny. So one example that he gives is if you want to have the habit of flossing your teeth, you shouldn't start with, "Oh, I'm going to floss all my teeth." And that's usually what we do. We want to do it all. Like we want to floss our teeth. That's the new habit. Let's do it. Instead, he says, floss one tooth. It should be that tiny. If you want to have a habit of going outside on a walk every day, your tiny habit, the thing you want to start with to lock the habit in place, is you should start with putting your shoes by the front door or by your bed or whatever makes sense in your situation. It needs to be that tiny, right? That simple and that tiny. So there are three pieces to creating habit. The first is a cue or a trigger. What is going to remind you what's already happening in your environment, what's already set up that can be a trigger for you. So, for example, um, I know someone who wanted to put spinach in their smoothie every day. And so their cue was this: every time they went in the kitchen in the morning and turned on the light, they would get out the spinach. That was their habit, super tiny. You may notice, like, the spinach is not getting in the smoothie yet, and that's okay. That's not the point. It needs to be so tiny. So first is cue, a trigger, something you're already doing that's already worked into your routine that you don't have to think about. And I want you really quick before we move on to the next step, think about how you already have these triggers. As soon as you sit in the car, you buckle your seatbelt. As soon as you come in the house, you hang up your keys. Whatever things you are already doing, you already have these kind of cues and these kind of triggers that lead you to your habits. So you can see that this is already working in your life. So first you have this cue or this trigger. Then you have a tiny habit that you want to create. We already talked about how tiny it needs to be. So you're going to take whatever habit you want to have, and you're going to bring it down to its smallest piece. You want it to be so small that it doesn't take motivation to accomplish. So in our example with running, if you want to go out for a run, you don't want to have a habit that requires so much motivation that you can talk yourself out of it. Like, how much motivation does it take to put your shoes by the door? Not much. Even if you're super tired, you can still do it that day. That's fine. That's how tiny you want it to be. So easy, so that you don't need a lot of motivation to get it done. The other example I gave, getting the spinach out of the fridge. That's so basic, right? Anyone can do that. Even if you're like, spinach doesn't sound that good. Well, I can get it out of the fridge. I can do that much. Like, what can you do if you're really not motivated to do anything that day? How much can you do? That is how tiny you want that habit to be. And then the third piece of this is the reward. Now, this is a piece that a lot of us skip because when we have a habit that is so tiny as getting the spinach out or flossing one tooth, we tend to think about what we didn't do when we didn't actually put the spinach in. We didn't actually floss our teeth. We didn't actually go for a run. We think about what we're missing here instead of what we actually did. But our brains like it when we celebrate, when we say good job. It creates this habit loop because what it does is we go, oh, yes, you flossed one tooth. Awesome job. You got that spinach out. Way to go. You want that yes feeling, that really good celebratory feeling. So you can actually say the word yes. You can do a little dance. You can smile. You can pat yourself on the back, whatever it is. You probably know that feeling, like that good feeling when you just feel proud that you did something and you accomplished it. Give yourself that feeling for doing this tiny habit. That is going to lock this habit in. Don't go in your mind to like all the rest of the things that you actually want to do and want to grow onto this habit. Celebrate that habit. That's going to lock that in. What's going to happen is after a few days of getting your running shoes out and putting them by the door, it's not that hard to then go outside, put your shoes on, take the next step, go outside. But on those days that you're too tired to do it, you're still going to celebrate that tiny little habit and that tiny win. And that's really huge because it's going to cement it in. It's going to keep you on the path. It's going to keep you doing it. And it's going to create the consistency that we talked about. So, tiny habits formula is you have a cue or a trigger, something that you're already doing. You use that to connect this tiny action, a tiny habit that you want to add to your life, and then you celebrate that you did it. That's all. That's going to lock that habit in, and you're going to keep on doing that consistently day after day after day. And you're going to start to make progress towards your goals. And you're going to allow yourself to feel good both in the moment and then consistently. You can look back over the week and say, yes, look at that. I did that every day this week, and then over the month, and then over the year. And you're going to see these tiny habits compound into huge differences in your life where you're actually making progress. And that's the best feeling. It's so huge. It's like these little things that aren't that hard to do in the moment. You've simplified it and you've made it so easy, and you're allowing yourself to see growth and to see progress. I love when I help people to make that connection and to make that change in their lives because it's not hard. Um, we just sometimes need a little help and a little coaching to get there. And that's what I'm here to do. And I want to let you know that group coaching spots are available with me. We're starting up a new group in June. It's limited spaces. I like to keep my groups really small, but I hope that if this is speaking to you and if this is what you feel like you need to progress, that you will reach out, schedule a call with me. Let's get on the phone, talk about what it looks like, and talk about how I can help you to really get organized in your day, to find balance between what you want personally and what you want as a mom and for your family. This is something that I know you can do, and you can find success in both areas of your life. So reach out to me. I look forward to talking with you. Have a great day, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.